Hello, this is Charlie from HotTipCentral.com, and in this video I'm going to show you how to upgrade your phone's firmware without updating the baseband on the phone. This is important for iPhone owners who wish to unlock their phones and use them with unapproved carriers. You need to make sure that your baseband remains compatible with a program called UltraSnow, which is found in Cydia. To ensure that it stays compatible, you want to make sure that you can update to the latest firmware without touching that baseband. I'll go into a little bit more detail about that if I just pull up my camera. Hello. This is my iPhone. It's currently running firmware 4.2.1, as you can see on the version line there. And my modem firmware, which is the same as the baseband, is right here, 021004. And that's important because, currently, as of this video, 0210 and 04 is not unlockable, but it will be soon. And it's important to keep that just right where it is, so when it does become unlockable, I don't actually update to something that is no longer unlockable after the update. You see what I'm saying? So that's what we're looking to do. To further demonstrate this little tidbit, we're going to bring up iTunes, and here it is. This is 4.2.1, and it's pretty simple to update to the latest firmware, but it's a little bit trickier when it comes to saving the baseband, because if you update through iTunes by just clicking Restore, which is this button located right here, then your baseband is going to get updated too because you're working with Apple. We're going to go around Apple, which is going to make a lot of people happy, I'm sure, to go around Apple. And to do that, we're going to go and use a program called TinyUmbrella. You can find this from the firmware from thefirmwareumbrella.blogspot.com. Also, all these details you're going to see in the video are all going to be in the description below. It's in a link to our website that will show you a detailed walkthrough, and all the download links you'll ever need are going to be right there. So we're going to use a program called TinyUmbrella. TinyUmbrella is used to, I really don't want to get into that, but let's just say it's used to go around Apple's servers so that you can do this particular thing, exactly what we're trying to do. So we're going to open up TinyUmbrella, and it's going to open. It takes a little bit. Sometimes it opens, sometimes it doesn't. So there you go. So this is what TinyUmbrella looks like. It's pretty simple. And you can go to the log section, and this is the part that's important. In the log tab, you'll see it says TSS server is not running. It's important that we get this running. To get this running, we simply start TSS server. Now, what's happened is your host files have been temporarily modified so that your computer is communicating with a different server and not communicating with Apple. I know it's a little bit tricky to understand, but just go with me on it. It's communicating with another server other than Apple, and that's what's going to let us do this. And when you open TinyUmbrella, iTunes closes, and we don't want iTunes to be completely closed. We need it open now because we're going to restore. So let me.
iTunes needs your attention.
Yes, I know iTunes needs my attention. It's going to prompt you with this if you're not on the latest firmware already. Don't worry about this. You should have already downloaded it. If you want to download, you can hit this button here, but do not hit this button. Don't hit that yet. Just hit this one right here and download your firmware. Now, if your TSS server is already running like mine is, you can probably hit this too. But you probably should already have the firmware downloaded before you start this process because it just makes it quicker. I'm going to cancel it because I already have the firmware. And I'm going to make sure this window stays right where it's supposed to be. And make sure my phone doesn't get shown. Okay, good. Now I'm going to play a song just because I don't want my details shown. So we're going to go back down to Bon Jovi. Where's my smiley face? There it is. Alright, so there's my smiley face that I wanted. And we'll stick him right here. It's my little creative way to hide my information, just to put this up here so that nobody can see my serial number or my phone number. That's really the only reason I'm having the smiley face up. You don't need to do that. Okay, so quick recap. TSS server is running. You can tell because it says TSS server is running right here with a big check mark, and that's important. If you see the check mark, you're good to go. So the next step is to restore the phone. So I have the firmware necessary for these steps located right here on the desktop. This is iOS 4.3.1 for iPhone 4. Again, download links are in the description on the website. And so that's what we're going to use. To point iTunes to a firmware of your choice, it's on your hard drive, if you're on a Mac, you're going to hold Option and hit Restore. If you're on a Windows, you're going to hold Shift and Restore. So I'm on a Mac, obviously, so I'm going to hit Option and Restore. It's going to prompt me. It says, where is your firmware? I'm going to scroll down until I find my firmware. It's right here. It's iOS 4.3.1, and hit Choose. It will say, so to erase your phone and you want to restore. I say yes, absolutely I do, and it goes to work. And you'll notice TinyUmbrella, this is the part that's cool, as this extracts and it gets ready to do its thing, you'll notice in the log file down here, TinyUmbrella will obviously start doing something, and that's how you know it's working. When it goes blah, you'll see a bunch of code will just slap right into there, and that's how you know it's working. So that's TinyUmbrella. It's doing its thing in the background, so you don't have to. And as soon as this is done restoring, we'll move on to the next step, because it's going to get stuck in recovery mode, and you'll see exactly what that's all about. We're going to go ahead and skip ahead in the video just a little bit so that we don't eat up so much time. And so I'll go ahead and come on back when it's almost done. Okay, we're back, and as you can see, it just kind of popped up in my face, a big 1013 error. And if you've just watched our downgrade video that we just put out like a couple minutes ago, you'll already have an explanation of the 1013 error. But if you haven't, this is basically what happens when iTunes detects the baseband is not where it's supposed to be, as according to the firmware. Essentially, just kind of pushes it up in your face, a big 1013 error. For those of us in the jailbreak community, we've already I can't really say jailbreak community because I'm not a hacker. So for those of us who have been jailbreaking for a while, we know what 1013 is. We know how to get around it. We laugh at it. We go, this is nothing. And that's essentially what we're going to do for it right now. It really isn't that big of a deal. And this is why. Right now, my phone is stuck in recovery mode. It's like this. There's no way to get it out of it. Yeah, smiley face, I get it. There's no way to really get it out of recovery mode without doing a couple extra things. So that's what we're going to look at right now. Let's get iTunes back up. Let's get iMovie out of the way. How about that? Because I don't need this anymore. Not right now, anyway. Okay, so we don't need TinyUmbrella anymore. So you can stop the TSS server. You can close it. I don't need it anymore. It's just taking up space on my screen now. So now we're left with iTunes showing a blank phone. What am I going to do? I can't get my phone. Here's what you do. There's a tool, and again, all the links are in the description. There's a link that will take you to the website, which has the entire tutorial laid out for you, download links and all. It's really good. Go ahead and scroll forward here. This is the folder I'm looking at. It's called Fix Recovery. There's two versions, of course. There's one for OS 10 and there's one for Windows. I'm, of course, using the one with OS 10. And inside the folder, there are two versions. There's one for 4.3 and there's one for 4.2.1. 4.2.1 is the firmware I just came from. 4.3.1 is the one I'm on now, so this is the one I'm going to use, 4.3. To use this, we're going to go ahead and open Terminal. If you're on Windows, of course, open your command line base. You're on this DOS, whatever you want to call it. I don't use Windows very much, you can tell. And all you're going to do, in OS 10 anyway, is you're going to take that file and you're going to drag it into this folder here. Now before you hit enter, before you go through this process, you're going to want to put your phone in DFU mode. DFU mode is another version of recovery that doesn't have, well, anyway, put it in DFU mode. So you're going to hold the power button and the home button at the same time. Just go ahead and hold that, and as soon as you see the screen shut off, wait about 2 seconds. 1001, 1002, and release the home button, release power, but keep home held down. And when you see iTunes pop in your face telling you that there's a phone in recovery mode,
excuse me, iTunes needs your attention.
That's when you know that you've got it done. So iTunes right now has detected, I'm going to close this, we don't need this right now. iTunes has detected a phone in recovery mode, blah, blah, blah. It's not really in recovery mode, it's in DFU, which is totally different. Kind of. Yeah, kind of totally different. Anyway, so next part is pretty simple. We're just going to go ahead and, since it's in DFU mode right now, in your terminal, hit enter, and that starts the process. That starts the little script thing that we just put in there. And so now that it's in DFU,
excuse me, iTunes
yeah,
needs your attention.
this will pop in your face. Just ignore them. Hit OK. Do whatever you got to do to get it out of your face. And iTunes will probably pop up again. Yep, there it is. So, but we don't need it open. And you'll have code going down your screen. Totally normal. That's what it's 4. It's kicking it out of recovery with style. That's what I think it is. That's what I think it's doing anyway. I just think it's cool to watch the little tiny letters go down the screen. That's all I think. It's really cool. So there, it's kicking it out of recovery, and when this whole process is finished, we will have a fully functional iPhone 4 on iOS 4.3.1. Pretty simple. Now there is one error with TinyUmbrella right now. It'll probably get fixed in the future, but right now, if you're going to 4.3.1 and you're using TinyUmbrella like I'm doing, you'll notice that your carrier, your signal strength, at least on AT&T anyway, I don't know if it applies to everyone else, but on AT&T you'll notice that you have 1 bar of service everywhere. You never get more than 1 bar. It's a known issue. It's going to happen to every single person that does it this way. You have full service. You don't have just 1 bar. It's just displaying 1 bar. I have no idea why, because like I said, I'm not a programmer. I don't know this stuff. But just totally normal. Don't worry about it. You have full service. Your data is just as fast as it usually is. Nothing's changed except what you physically see on your screen for what you have as service. So just keep that in mind, and I'll show it to you as soon as this is done, because I'll keep the video going until this is done so you can see that it works before I end the video just before it doesn't work. Yeah, I don't want to do that. So, and there it is. This is the emergency call screen, which is the good sign. That's a sign that you're out of recovery, of course. And as soon as your phone verifies and does its thing, there it goes. And you'll be able to unlock it. And then we'll go ahead and just slide this, unlock the phone, and there you go. We have iOS 4.3.1. Now you'll notice also carrier, 1 bar of service. Now I am about 2 miles from a 3G tower, so there's no reason for that to be that way. But it will be that way. It's totally normal. You have full service, and I can show you that you have full service if I had the speed test net. I don't really have speed test up here, but I guess I can load a website. Maybe that'll show you. Let's load Yahoo. No. Pop-up windows. Let's just load a site, and I'll show you that you really do have decent signal. It's not really low service. You know, it's working. It's fine. And last but not least, settings. You see that little location services thing I was talking about under Wi-Fi. That's there now. And also in this part here, this is the most important part because this is the whole point of the video, is we're on now 4.3.1 in the version. And the baseband, scroll up here. I can't scroll up enough. I really can't. And the modem firmware, if I get my thumb out of the way, is there we go, 021004. Now all that little scrolling you see, don't freak out. That's just my thumb kind of going off the screen and back on. So don't freak out. So anyway, yeah, that's it. You have a fully functional phone on iOS 4.3.1 with the baseband preserved, and now you can proceed to jailbreak the phone if you want. If you're interested in jailbreaking your phone from this firmware, go ahead and click the little video right, let's put it on the side, right there. And that will take you to the next video that will allow you to jailbreak this sucker. See ya.